Good evening and salutations, my GH fans. So, question: what does everyone think about the new intro? Sorta. Um, like it's new. It's the layout is the same as far as the color and everything, but they updated some pictures and they kind of show it in a different way a little bit. I'm not gonna lie, I still miss the old. I still miss the old intro. Um, so it took me a second because I was like, this looks slightly different. Anyway, what does everyone think about it? So, you really felt the need to cram as many people in this episode as possible. And I don't understand why it was called a part two. They could have just whatever. Let's talk about Terry for a minute and the epic bad date that this woman had. I sat there and I was like, this guy is an absolute tool bag. This is after, of course, she thinks that Chad is her date. Um, and then the guy, walks over. He's like, "Oh, well, I'm gonna be your date or whatever." Like, "Oh, our table's ready." So I was like, "Okay, cool." And the minute that he started talking about capitalism and this, that, and the third, I was just sitting there like, "All right, bro. So pretty much what you sitting there saying to her is that you don't have a car and you don't have a job and you're pretty much just kind of crapping over her job." Wow, that's just it was just rough to watch. And so Chad is overhearing everything, and finally he walks over like, "All right, that's it. I can't do this anymore." And he makes up this story like, "Oh, I don't want to share you with anyone else," and the guy just kind of just walks off, and I was like, "Oh my god, there's actual people that's like that." That's the sad part. Anyway, they start to get together and they talk or whatever, and they just seem like they're having a good time, just drinking and just getting to know each other. So, all right, let's see where that goes. Also, Chad talked to Sunny real quick because reasons. Um, TJ and Molly. I'm not gonna lie. When I looked at the thumbnail, it didn't even look like Molly for a good minute. Anyway, the only thing that was important about this them being in this episode was that TJ was sitting there talking about how Jordan may be coming back. I don't know if she's her actual character is going to be coming back, but he was sitting there saying that she's doing a lot better, so she may be home sooner than they thought. And then after that, they do it at the hotel. So okay. Um, Side note, I was sitting there reading something on the thing soap hub or something saying that Lulu is gonna wake up from her coma and it's gonna kind of put the stop or the brakes on Sam and Dante. So I don't know if it's true or not, but I don't know how I feel about that. I wasn't exactly a fan of the new Lulu, and after a while I felt like her storyline was just like eh, you can kind of keep it, you can leave it. I don't really care one way or the other. But in a lot of ways, I do feel like they kind of, from what I understood, I felt like they kind of did the actress dirty. Um, she had a lot of stuff going on in her personal life, and then finding out that, she was more or less being let go. On top of the fact that I don't think that she was having a house anymore, so she had to start moving around and her kids and everything like that. So I don't know if that's going to be like if she's actually going to come back, the same actress, or if it's going to be a new actress. But what? Honestly, tell you the truth, I will sit there and say this much: if they do get somebody new, I don't think that she could have did a worse job than the old one. I mean, than the one that they had. Okay, I don't want to sit there and say she did like a terrible job. I just wasn't really feeling her. It's just my personal thing. Um, So yeah, I just kind of want to talk about that real quick because I felt like I was going to forget it, seeing how they cramped every goddamn person in this episode today. They even also had Dubois. I can't remember his first name, and to be honest, I don't. I feel like I'm just too lazy to sit there and try to look it up because they don't usually Felix. God damn it. Um, they don't use him too much. So anyway, so Felix and Carly hit the town. Carly is looking at a bunch of couples, and she looks at a wedding ring, which by the way she takes that off towards the end. Runs into Felix. They chat for a little bit. Felix is like, "Yo, we got to go out." So put on your most skimpiest outfit, whatever. We hit the town. We're gonna go to the Curtis Club, which of course Brad and Britt are there, just having shots, knocking them back, just having a good time. And Carly and Felix sees Britt and Brad, and they walk over, and I'm just like, all right. I mean, just because you see him there, that doesn't mean you need to necessarily walk over there. It's like, what are you sitting there picking fights with them for? I thought that, first of all, I thought that you and Britt was on somewhat good terms, and I mean, Carly, no offense, as much as I do not like Brad, and I cannot stress that enough, this ain't your club. Like you don't own this. Like you can go over there and kick rocks. Like, and I hate that they're defending Brad or anything, but this isn't your club. This isn't your space. You can just go that way. Um, so you can sit there and say that they're sniping each other back and forth a little bit, and Felix and Brad go off to talk, and then it's just weird. I guess it's kind of a weird scene between Britt and Carly because one minute they're sitting there and they're having shots and they're having a good time, and then they start arguing. Well, okay, so they're talking about Jason and they're bonding over him, which causes them to start drinking and having shots and just bonding and having a good time. So they're doing that for a little bit, and then I think Carly brings up Brad, and Britt sits there and defends him by calling out Michael. And then, they go back and forth, and after a while, Britt is like, listen, we're not doing this. I didn't come out here to fight. I'm tired of fighting. I want to sit there and drink and just have a good time. And so they start drinking and bonding again. So it was kind of weird. It's like they were standoffish, bonding, drinking, fighting, and then drinking again. So it's like, okay. Um, Now, Felix actually told um, Brad to kind of stop beating himself up, because Brad was not there apologizing for everything that he did, stuff that he caused, like as far as um, Lucas and maybe him at one point. And, Felix like, you need to sit there and just kind of live your life and just do you. And of course, Brad was like, well, it's not exactly up to me. Um, when the hell is Mrs. Wu actually coming back? Because I miss her. I really miss her. Um, that woman's a badass. Even Carly recognized how much, like, you don't want to sit there and cross her. So when the hell is she actually coming back? Sonny and Nina. Sonny, God, I just. So they run into each other. And, Nina's like, is Phyllis here? I want to make sure she's okay because, it's Valentine's Day and there's some Lenny and everything. And they talk for a little bit. And, there's one point where Sonny's like, oh, well, you've already done enough. Like, as far as to wreck, his marriage. I was like, bro, it takes two. You can't sit there and put all of that on her. Like, yeah, I guess she was the initial cause, but, bro, you didn't help your case. So why are you sitting there putting all that on her? It's like, oh, well, you've done enough. And then Nina's like, all right, well, I'm just gonna leave now. Do you want me to leave? Or do you want me to stay? What the? What kind of what kind of question is that? What did he just say? I mean, granted, he was incorrect and kind of a jackass for it, but um, he pretty much just told you to kick rocks. He said you were the cause of his marriage breaking down, which is not exactly all true, but a lot of ways he kind of told you to kick rocks. So what the hell are you sitting there asking him? Do you want me to go? Do you want me to stay? Sweetheart, you already know the answer. You're just choosing to ignore it. Okay, so of course she sits back, she sits down, they start talking, and Sonny plays victim, and my marriage this, and my marriage that, and, Carly's gonna divorce me, and blah, 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 and not taking any accountability whatsoever. Uh, I, I've said this more times than I can count, okay? And I feel like I'm getting to a point where I'm just going to become a broken record. Sonny and Jason, even though we don't talk about Jason anymore. But Sonny was, that character that really kind of drew me to the show. I remember watching GH, and one of my friends came in. He was still baffled that I was watching soap opera. But Sonny caught his attention. He was like, I'm really interested in that character. So I don't really have to sit there and do much to sit there and say that Sonny, is my favorite character. With that being said, it's the same conversation. He doesn't take accountability. It's Carly's fault. She gave up too quickly. She's talking about divorce and blah, 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 blah. Not what I did, not the stuff that I caused. You know, let's just put it all on Carly because she gave up too fast. She literally caught you in bed with another woman, and she's wants a divorce, and you're sitting there saying, I can't believe she actually wants a divorce. I can't believe she doesn't want to work this out. Wasn't it the same guy that was upset that Carly and Jason got together? Because I know I wasn't exactly a fan of that, but he came in, he was like, I don't know if I'm actually cool with that. Of course, he had dirt on himself, but whatever. So Sonny just continues to be the hypocrite, and bunch of other names. I'm not even going to sit there and bother to go into them, but yeah, that's pretty much the gist of their conversation. Of course, Sonny left after drinking too much. I mean, Sonny told Nina to leave, even though Nina didn't want to leave because Sonny was drinking too much. But he made it very clear that I want you to leave, and he said it in a certain tone, and I think it kind of resonated with her, and so she decided to leave. You know what? I will sit there and say this. Bad on the bar the first time that Sonny got really hammered. And I understand that he's like the, manager or whatever, but I mean, there is a thing of, over serving someone. And they're supposed never mind. I'm just not there trying to sit there and act like this damn show is I'm gonna sit there and bother to try to put logic and common sense into it. Let's talk about as May for a minute. So she comes to see Spencer, and she gives him a little gift since they can't have conjugals. She gives him a lewd photo of herself. Okay, sure, whatever. So they start talking, and Spencer, asks about his friends, like, oh, did my friends sit there and like, ask about me or anything like that? I'm sitting there thinking, why the hell would your friends want to talk to Esme about anything? If your friends didn't come to see you when you're in jail, or your little country club version of jail, then you pretty much kind of got your answer. Of course, um, Esme was not happy about that, so she decides to leave for a little bit, and she talks to the guard. She's like, all right, can I see Ryan? Okay, it's fine. Whatever. It's late. I'll see him tomorrow. And then the guard, can't remember his name, like it matters, is like, no, you can't see him at all because you've been restricted from seeing him. And she's like, by who? And Kevin's like, by me. So Kevin, well, Esme's like, well, why can't I not see him? You're making this all personal. And Spencer walks over like, Why would you want to sit there and say that nut job? And Asmi is all like, "Oh, well, you can't sit there and say something about mental health or some crap or whatever." Anyway, she gets all pissy and then she just walks off. Um, Kevin sits there and asks, "Is Spencer okay?" It, Now, I'm assuming that he must mean. I don't see you sitting there asking him, "Is he okay?" He's literally in a country club. Now, I understand that in the beginning, Esme kind of snuck up behind him and he got really jumpy, which is a normal reaction if you're, whatever. Anyway, it is a minimum security thing, but I mean, look around. They just look like they're just kind of hanging out, just like kind of chilling. So before Kevin left, Kevin and Laura was sitting there talking about Esme. And, Laura's just kind of like really pissed off at her so far, doing her nails while she was on the couch, because apparently that's a bad thing. Um, Not like this is something called, nail polish remover, but whatever. Um, so they're talking about her, and Kevin sits there and try to look at it from a different point of view, like she's with total strangers. She feels abandoned. She doesn't really have anyone. And then Kevin leaves, and then Trina comes over, and Laura gives Trina her Valentine's gift or her gift from Spencer, some sort of book, some sort of art book. Trina Smith did think about the time that Spencer almost kissed her, and she almost allowed it to happen because reasons. Um, yeah, we're just gonna go with reasons because I feel like if I say anything else, it's just poke Katrina. So not gonna go there. Um, but they talk about Spencer and stuff, and there's one point where Esme walks in the door, and Laura's like, it's a good thing that he has people like you in his life, or something along those lines. And of course, Esme's like, hmm. Okay. So she walks in, she's like, Trina, here you are again in this house. So Trina leaves, and Laura kind of talks to her real quick, and Esme's like, no, it's cool. I got something to do in the morning. And of course, she thinks about the little, tape that she made of, video that she made of Jocelyn and Cam, doing it. Which I'm not gonna lie, I don't. What is that supposed to do to Trina? Like, what is that supposed to do? I mean, Trina already knows that Cam and Jocelyn are together, and hell, there was a couple of times that Jocelyn might actually talk to Trina about the fact that they were ready to sleep together. So, what is that supposed to do? I don't. I know there's a payoff somewhere. We're still waiting for it to happen. Ava and Nicholas. So Ava is thrilled that Carly and Sunny's marriage are in the toilets, and then they exchange gifts, and then they get real with each other. And they talk about when they're going to sit there and do their renewal, renew their vows or whatever. It's just going to be them, since I think Ava or Nicholas is like, it's us against the world. So, Ava's like, all right, let's just do our vows, just, me and you. So they got real for a little bit. And I'm just sitting there thinking about how many guys have Ava actually been with? Well, how many younger guys have Ava actually been with? And it's been a lot. It's been a lot. It was Griffin, it was Morgan, then there's Nicholas. And granted, Nicholas is older than probably Griffin and Morgan, but anyway, then they decide to have this whole little 50 Shades of Grey scene, and that pretty much ended that. Which I've never actually watched that movie, and I'm very iffy if I actually want to watch any of those movies. Not gonna lie, the first one, the guy kind of seems very creepy, so I think that's about it. I don't know. I feel like some people just wasn't needed in this episode. Like Nicholas and Ava may not have been needed in this episode. I know TJ and Molly definitely was not needed in this episode, but for some odd reason, this just crammed more in together. But again, all in all, it was a good episode. So, with that being said, I'm going to go. I want to thank everyone for watching. Be safe. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section below, and I will see you in the next video.